Valentine's Day is coming, and in February, the Venus is going to exalt in the sign of Pisces. So today, in this video, we are going to see that how the transit of all the different planet in the different signs is, different sign, including the planet Venus, which is going to exalt in the sign of Pisces in the next month, in the month of February. So how is going to impact in your life of all ascendant. So my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, welcome to our favorite astrology channel, the one and only Jupiter Astrology, and we are going to discuss now the transit for all the ascendant in the month of February. I would like to tell you before we move forward, you can directly take consultation from us. We have created a website now. It's so simple. You can go there, link in description and the comment section below. You can just click there and just click of a button, you can just simply purchase directly consultation from us as the instruction are given on the website, and then we will just help you out in the consultation. Okay guys, so for that, links are in comment section and description. You can purchase consultation also. So let's start by taking a look at the planetary positions for the 1st of February. Jupiter, one of the slow moving planets, is still positioned in Pisces, its own house. Ketu, Rahu is still in Libra and Aries. I guess the transfer won't take place until November of this year. Saturn, meanwhile, recently relocated to a new house during the Sun's transit of Aquarius in January. Venus will begin her journey in Aquarius while it will be in Capricorn. Mars will be in Taurus while Mercury is in Sagittarius. So let's examine the February transits. The first transit will therefore occur on February 6th. Mercury will be the culprit. Mercury will transit across Capricorn from Sagittarius. Sun is going to be the following one. The Sun will change positions on February 12th. It's Capricorn to Aquarius transition. And yeah, the following transit will be one of our favorites. Venus will be in the sky the day following Valentine's Day on February 15th. It will transit through Pisces after Aquarius. Venus is now exalted in Pisces, making this a beautiful transit for us. And last but not least, there will be a Mercury transit. Mercury thus makes two transits in February. Therefore, it performs another transit from Capricorn on February 27th. It enters Aquarius. The two zodiac signs of Capricorn and Aquarius will therefore be quite active during this entire transit. What are the primary factors that we need to think about in February? Even though it recently started that in January, that Saturn has recently traveled into Aquarius, which is one of its favorite signs. On February 6th, the Sun will begin to travel toward Aquarius. It's already starting to catch fire, Aquarius. As a result, as soon as we start to feel good about the fact that Saturn has entered the sign of Aquarius, the Sun chooses to set it on fire. What does combust mean then? The planet is too close to the Sun, which is what it means. It somewhat exacerbates that planet's impact. Saturn will therefore only be able to provide us with this great influence temporarily. Therefore, Saturn is combust on February 6th. Therefore, until at least after February 6th, Saturns will not be able to exert their impact throughout the month of February. So the last 3 weeks of February, or the last 3 weeks of the month, are when the Sun has the most of an effect on us. The result is a combustion. Venus is in Aquarius in February after the middle of the month, but before the middle of the month. And guess who? With Saturn, that is, even though Venus and Saturn are now considered friends, their interactions have quite different outcomes. Saturn is an aged, responsible, mature, and highly industrious planet when Venus enters its orbit. Then when gets in touch with Saturn, it helps us develop a really serious, responsible attitude toward not only love and romantic relationships, but also how we handle our finances. So now is the time for us to approach our relationship with a really mature mindset. Additionally, it's a more effective method of managing relationships. I would certainly expect that. But if you're hoping for a giddy romantic moment, you should wait until after the middle of the month. When Venus enters its exalted sign, Jupiter remains with Pisces. That is unquestionably a happier, younger, more passionate and bubblier time that Venus can give us. Saturn provides us with a very, as I've already said, mature, responsible. Let me consider the impact of this relationship on a more serious level. Venus has these two extremely distinct effects in February. In February, it has extremely distinct effects on us, ranging from one extreme to the other. So, given that it's Valentine's Day right now, I'll be going into great length on the Venus impact this month. Valentine's Day is a tremendously sociable holiday, as you probably already know. It has nothing to do with planets specifically, but for those who do celebrate and believe in Valentine's Day, it's a time when we reflect on our relationships. So, my beautiful girls and my handsome boys, we should consider our connections every single day, 24 hours a day. Not just on Valentine's Day must you consider them, but now is a fantastic moment for us to talk about how we take care of our relationships. So let me do that. I'm talking about Venus in February because of this. Additionally, I want to remind you that I'll put a link to my video in the description box if you haven't watched my Saturn moving into Aquarius prediction. Therefore, in order to comprehend why Venus exalts in Pisces, we must first understand Venus. Once we comprehend it, we are better able to manage our relationships and make the Venus in our lives function a little bit better for us. We now know that Venus exalts in Pisces and debilitates in Mercury's sign of Virgo. Jupiter is the planet of Pisces. So let's start with Venus's symbolic meanings. Venus is the goddess of love and money. Jupiter also governs our spirituality and wisdom. Since Pisces is the 12th zodiac sign, it is the sign that governs religion. It entails releasing some things. It entails leaving behind the world's material possessions and ascending to a higher level of consciousness where we can let go of our material wants. We distribute goods. We tend to give away our possessions if we have no emotional attachment to them because we aren't tied to them and we just don't bother about the little things in life. So we're simple. We can easily give them away, And Pisces is that. Because Pisces is so dominant in people's charts, it also represents charitable people and is so tend to make substantial donations. As a result of their extensive charitable work, Pisces donates to charities and gives away their possessions. Additionally, we occasionally give ourselves away. That is, we offer ourselves to the other person or the connection. Therefore, when Venus enters Pisces, it actually teaches or instructs us on how to have a healthy relationship. So I think we must give ourselves up, which means we can't always be self-centered. We must relinquish ourselves. We must stop worrying about the trivial aspects of life. We must adopt a more spiritual strategy. You shouldn't stress about trivial matters in life. You must refrain from using a materialistic perspective in our connection. One must exist. Because Jupiter is spiritual, our partnership takes a spiritual approach. Jupiter also imparts knowledge on how to handle this partnership using a more spiritual strategy. In this instance, I don't imply you'll visit a temple, a church, or another place of worship. I refer to a spiritual approach as a comprehensive style of thinking in which you don't just count on your relationships or your partner to provide you with material goods. You anticipate that only your emotions and the emotional health of your partner will provide you delight. Therefore, putting aside material possessions, you don't expect your companions and relationships to provide you with anything on a tangible level. You anticipate receiving emotional support from your relationships. Additionally, happiness teaches you how to offer. As a result, you're not just giving yourself away, but also your ego. Your ego is one of the primary causes of relationship issues. So Pisces also represents letting rid of one's ego. The first lesson learned by saints and monks who have gained spirituality is that they must give up their ego, which is what the zodiac sign Pisces represents. It means letting go of your ego. Venus is also exalted in that chart since it instructs you to do it, which is why a wonderful partnership. The first step is to let go of your ego and simply see that person or relationship through an egoless lens. You do this by removing your ego and simply seeing that person or relationship for what they are, rather than for who you are and what your status is, and by giving that person your happiness so they can give it back. Venus exalted in Pisces provides you the insight to handle your connection on a holistic spiritual level rather than a materialistic level, which is why it is in Pisces. Venus weakens in Virgo, the sign that Mercury is located in. Although Venus and Mercury are friendly planets in theory, Venus weakens when it is in the house of a buddy. Mercury is a sign or planet that frets about the little things, which is why it behaves that way. Okay, Mercury therefore rules Virgo, a sign that is concerned with the minute details. Everything is tiny, especially the little things. People, strong Mercury in their charts indicates that they operate in the disciplines of accounting, and since those are the ones that call for extreme accuracy and attention to detail, which is what Mercury represents. But you can't act that way when Venus enters Mercury. It tells you that behavior is inappropriate in a romantic setting. In a relationship where you constantly nitpicking about other people and relax, you can't be too specific. You must let the specifics go. You must consider the big picture. Therefore, if we act erratically in our relationships by nitpicking over insignificant details or other unimportant issues, the partnership will not last. Relationships, whether romantic or otherwise, don't function when we act in a mercurial way, which involves fluctuating emotions, picking apart small details, finding fault, and striving for perfection in everything. The marriage is unsuccessful. Venus debilitates in Mercury sign as a result. Our relationships function when we adopt the Pisces method, which is the Jupiter approach. Therefore, Venus exalts in Pisces, I guess. Now, I'm not sure if I've already said this, but Venus is, of course, signified by Shakracharya. This is what Venus is telling us. So you and I, no matter whose house I enter, in reality, I am exalting and entering my enemy's house. Thus, if you want to benefit from Venus in your life, you must adopt these attributes. This is the lesson we will learn from Venus. You cannot practice racism or act in a cruel manner toward others while expecting to succeed. Must maintain excellent relationships both with people and with money, keeping in mind that relationship in both cases. The Venus also represents your financial status, I guess. People who are really prejudiced or who get harsh remarks about others always endure hardships in their relationships as well as financial hardships. Therefore, if we want to have an exalted Venus in our own lives, which entails having wonderful interpersonal relationships and a very stable financial condition, we need to recognize that we require an elevated Venus. Furthermore, even if it doesn't appear in our charts, we may still strengthen the Venus by exhibiting these Venus traits in our own lives. Please be aware that all of my predictions are based only on planetary transits. Your real outcomes will always be determined by the planetary placements in your individual birth chart. So now let's talk about Aries Ascendant. Aries Ascendant, the three most significant planetary movements for you will occur in February. It will start with the Saturn combustion. Planet Saturn will be combust on 5th of February. Therefore, 10th and 11th, Lord will become combusts. Now is the moment to put your knowledge to use, expand it, and profit from it for the advancement of your profession. And right now is your chance to take advantage of a wonderful opportunity. However, it could also imply that you may be overqualified and that your knowledge, experience, and other attributes could themselves become a barrier to your advancement. Remain patient. The second event is the transit of Venus. This is an exalted transit on the sign of Pisces, so you can split February in two. On February 15th, Venus will enter the sign of Pisces. This is the period when you will feel the happiest. Therefore, your private life will develop. Your own experience will be made considerably easier. The marriage will benefit from this. In reality, any relationship, your expenses will go up as a result, though you could be unaware that you are paying significantly more for less. Want in life since February, what of the feeling that the benefits outweigh the costs. Therefore, this is a month where it's extremely important to restrict your spending and refrain from acting on impulse. You must pay close attention because kids will be having some difficulties at this moment. Many people will struggle with time management, especially if Saturn is weak or weakened in their natal chart. Mercury, on the other hand, will move quickly from Sagittarius to Aquarius. This Mercury movement makes it more likely that your efforts to solve problems and advance your career will be successful and yield favorable outcomes, especially within the fields of banking and money, business, language, media, journalism, writing, and publishing. Mars, on the other hand, will remain in the Taurus sign. Ketu will be in your 7th house, while Rahu will be in your ascendant. Therefore, if you decide to do something, especially on a personal level, you might need to be open, have a conversation, or move your marriage forward. In general, postpone it until after February 15 because this month's energies will be a lot more relaxed. Therefore, you must not be careless. Lethargy, laziness, and procrastination will be the focus of February for Aries Ascendant. Therefore, you should take the initiative. Additionally, if your moon sign is Aries, this will also have an impact on you, and you may delight. You can indulge on the several forms of pleasure, love, and happiness. That's wonderful, but you also need to pay attention to your karma and career. Otherwise, the circumstance and your issues will keep telling you where you should put your attention. You will love this month if you keep your attention on everything, including your destiny and the things you desire in life. Really, fasting on Saturdays while reciting the Saturn Bees mantra and chanting the Lord Vishnu's name. You can improve your personal and professional lives in February by practicing Lord Vishnu names, among other strategies. Aries. For February, Aries, in terms of career, Saturn has already moved into your 11th house of gains and desires, so it's a time to get the rewards of all the past hard work that you've been putting in your ascendant Lord. Mars has also started its direct motion in the house of finance. So overall, this month is a very positive one in terms of both career and finance. Also, Mercury will guide you with good skills and intelligence to achieve whatever it is that you want in terms of professional growth. This month is also exceptional in terms of business development and growth for people that own businesses. In the second half of the month, you may also get a lot of support from your seniors and bosses. You may also be very visible to them. Your hard work is going to be visible to them, and you also may get a lot of positive recognition from your bosses and seniors at work. So make sure you're prepared for that. Make sure you put in the hard work because you are going to be visible to them. They are going to be noticing you. Although it's not a very favorable time to start a new business at this time, motivation is at an all-time high. Your energy is great and you have no health issues or concerns in this month. As far as life is concerned, the first half of the month, it's going to be where you're gonna take a mature, responsible approach towards love life. You may be hardworking. You may want to ignore your loved ones and relationships, but at the second half of the month is way better, where you are going to spend a lot of money on your relationship, and you may have a wonderful time as well, and it's going to be a lot more pleasant in the second half of the month for students. This is a very positive month. You're going to have good energy to work hard, and you're also going to be able to see the results of that. So your focus is going to be wonderful, and also going to feel like working hard on your assignments, and you're going to do well. The second half is better for achieving your dreams and aspirations, better than the first half of the. So this is all about Aries Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Taurus Ascendant. Taurus Ascendant. Venus is in charge of your 6th house and ascendant, and at the start of the month of February, Venus will be in a conjunction with Saturn. As a result, you can have discomfort, especially if you need to care for your health. You will need to put a lot of effort and emphasis into this right now. You must stand up and face your situation. You must confront your fear if you want to prevail. In February, there is no substitute for hard labor, but it doesn't mean you have to work non-stop. You must bring the smart with you. After the first week of February, Mercury will be in the 8th house. Your second lord, Buddha Mercury, as well as your 5th lord will enter the 9th house. This will give you the advice and information you need. Maybe the sources you follow or explore will lead you to the correct information. That, along with the instruction, will assist you to calm down mentally. This will be especially beneficial for those in the banking, financial, tax, travel, and tourism industries, as well as those who are interested in business, trade, and investments. Venus, on the other side, will become exalted after February 15th. Because your Venus was plagued with issues and will now become exalted. This is a wonderful sign for Taurus Ascendant and Taurus Moon sign. Jupiter is in Pisces at the time of the conjunction. This is advantageous because this is your 11th house, which indicates that growth is to be expected, along with meeting many powerful individuals who will make your life more pleasant overall. You will also receive appropriate medical care, sound advice, and have fun with your buddies. Additionally, you can start a friendship that will last a lifetime. If your horoscope permits marriage, this also portends the possibility of meeting your future spouse. The first part of February should be thoroughly examined, and each move should be cautiously made. You will see that the second half of February is significantly more smoother, lighter, and happier as a result of the effects, which will be evident in the second half of February. Natives with a Taurus Ascendant and Moon sign. However, you also see that after February 13th, there will be a conjunction of the Sun and Saturn, which is very significant for you because the Sun is your 4th lord. Additionally, your asset will start generating income when the lord of the 4th house enters the 11th house. This will benefit you, thus it's a positive thing. You might acquire wealth. You might consider purchasing a house or a vehicle. Any such thought that enters your head is going to produce positive outcomes down the road. In order to prepare for that, you can also alter your residence. You can alter your property as well. Reinvesting in your house is another option you have. All of these sectors connected renovation firms will manifest and experience some growth. Reforms are necessary, though you will realize that you won't advance 1 inch without reforms. The time is not right to display ego. Now is the moment to develop humility. This is the time to be humble. When Sun and Saturn comes together and Venus exalt, this is the transit of surrender. So if you give in and go with the flow, February will be quite uplifting for you. Taurus, for February, your ascendant, Lord Venus, is with Saturn in the first half of the month, and then it exalts in the second half of the month. So it's going to have to be a very powerful month for TAUs in terms of career as well as relationships. Saturn's recent transit into your 10th house of career means that it's time for you to start putting lots of effort and seeing the rewards of gains from that as well. There may be new opportunities that present themselves as well. Think carefully before you jump on the first one. Remember, Rahu in the 12th house creates confusion in the mind, so you should take good guidance from somebody whose opinion you, if necessary, before you make any career-related decisions. If you're looking for a job, this is the time you may get it. Promotion at work is also possible February and March months. For TAS financially, this is a positive time as well, but control your overspending. Health is much more improved now compared to prior months. If you have had digestive issues in the past, you're going to recover now. This month is also very positive in income and financial gains. Venus is with Saturn in the 10th house, which means you get good income up from your job or from your business. The second half of the month is definitely better in terms of financial rewards because Venus will move into the 11th house. The 11th house denotes extra income, or you could see better financial rewards from your investments. You could also see a bonus or other kinds of material benefits. The 11th house denotes your social circle. It also denotes your professional network. So if there's anything that you need in terms of career growth, you can reach into your the professional circle network of people that you know professionally and ask them for whatever it is that you need help on, and you will see amazing results from that. So make sure you utilize that transit really well, because if there's something you need in terms of professional career growth, make sure you reach into your professional network and ask for the support or help that you need. As far as life is concerned, the first half, you're probably going to be very busy with work. So the first half of the month, you're going to probably not find time because I see you working very hard. But the second half of the month is going to be amazing because your ascendant Lord gets exalted in the 11th. You're going to spend a lot of time with friends and also socializing. But I also see that if you are looking for love, you may find it in the second half of the month. So make sure you're out and about socially active. So if you're looking for somebody, you find that person there. Also, if married, the second half of the month, so much better. And married life is going to be very sweet. After the second half of the month, students, you do a little better. You may have a little more focus in the first half of the month. The second half of the month, you're gonna lose complete focus. You're gonna be so happy, spending time, having fun. So make sure you maintain that focus during the second half of the month. So this is all about Taurus Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Gemini Ascendant. Gemini rising. It will be a month of revelations in February. There will be a lot of secrets uncovered, especially since your ascendant is in the 7th house. Venus will become exalted starting in mid-February. Your 5th lord, Venus, will ascend and become exalted. On the other side, there will be a conjunction of the Sun and Saturn. From 13th of February, your 9th lord sits with your 3rd lord and forms a conjunction when your 5th lord conjuncts Jupiter. Conflict in the family over money may start to surface now, especially conflict between brothers. There is a chance of inheritance, and this will also show you the true face of a lot of people. If one of your friends turns out to not be a wonderful friend of yours, don't be shocked. The topic for February 2023 is twists and turns, but in a good way. For example, you might find that someone you believed was your enemy or otherwise undesirable turns out to be a wonderful help. You should also be aware that because Mars is in your 12th house and Rahu is in your 11th, there will likely be some investment related anxiety this month as Mercury moves from the 7th to the 8th and then 9th houses. You will attempt to be overly protective if you experience financial uncertainty. This month can bring about a desperation to make more money, but this drive is constructive. This may inspire fresh thoughts in you that may lead to a shift in your employment situation or a new source of money. The possibilities are now open. Although this month is good for you, you still need to view it optimistically. Mercury is a planet that dislikes being in the 7th or 8th house, as you can see. That's not the appropriate place for this, to be honest. more in the upachya houses, where transactions and liquidity might occur, is Buddha boots or Mercury place. So this is a time when, because most of the money can be blocked, especially if you are going to invest in some place or you are going to lend your money that can, take away the sleep that can make you. If your horoscope is in poor shape, it can be terrifying, but your money can also be restricted to some level. Therefore, exercise extreme caution when deciding how to invest and distribute your funds. You will need to be extremely clear when you talk, because there is a very high probability that you will be misunderstood from a communication standpoint. But all the disclosure happens in the second half of February. Sun and Saturn align, creating a conjunction. The third and ninth lords are combined. This is the case when you begin practicing and comprehending your dharma. The life teaches you lessons on the other side of this, so to speak. Accepting that, and that teaching is the highest expression, because once you begin attempting to bargain with yourself, you will eventually direct your own course of action. Therefore, you will be your own teacher and your soul will be adjusted. The second half of February is far more comfortable than the beginning, so you could say that February is a month of soul realignment. Gemini for February. Geminis have been challenged with health issues and mental worries regarding finance for a very long time because of the fact that Saturn had been in their 8th house for 3 years. This situation is changing for them. It's just not as fast as they would like it to be. Gemini is ruled by Mercury and it's a fast moving planet. So most Geminis don't have as much patience as some of the other ascendants. So now they're getting a lot of frustrated because it's been a long time and things aren't changing as fast as they would like it to be. Although things are changing, I assure them. Speaking of career, things get a lot better after the middle of the month, because Saturn is now in the 9th house. The 9th house is a house of luck. And then Venus does come into that house and conjuncts with Saturn. So definitely career is going to start looking up for the Gemini people. The only thing they need to make sure is that they maintain very good relationships with co-workers and superiors during this Saturn transit. And they also have to make sure they don't take an aggressive approach at work. With everybody, their peers, their superior. After the middle of the month, Venus gets exalted in their 10th house. So it might bring you some new opportunities. Make sure you spend some time on polishing your skills and as well as your image. After the middle of the month, Venus moves into the 10th house of career conjuncts with you, and things start to look up quite a bit. And just make sure that you maintain very good relationships with everybody. Like I already mentioned, as far as a financial situation is concerned, it does begin to stabilize just a little better. Mars was retrograding the 12th house before. So a lot of Geminis might have had to spend a lot of money on things they didn't want to spend on. So the spending was high, but on undesirable kind of things, like it could have been health. So now Mars turns direct. It still stays in the 12th house, meaning the spending is still going to be somewhat there, but the spending may change the nature of it. So it could be spending on traveling, it could be spending on things for the comfort of yourself or getting comfort. So as opposed to, negative kind of spending still stays until March, but it's spending that you may not feel so bad about. So try to control your spending. If you're really worried about your finances, speaking of health, your health does start to improve. I know a lot of Geminis will tell me, no, it's not improving, but trust me, it is improving. It's improving a little. The main part is that Saturn is out of your 8th house. The Sun will be out of your 8th house by the middle of the month. And the only planet left in there will be your Sun in Lord, Mercury. And so the only thing that I'm going to say, that is your overall health will start to improve greatly after the middle of the month. The only concern I'm going to point out, which is not a big concern, is to watch out for any throat infections, anything like coughs, colds, and allergies, which greatly less than what you have been dealing with in the past. So this is all about Gemini Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Cancer Ascendant. Cancer Ascendant. For Cancer Ascendant, there is favorable conjunction between the Moon and Mars in your 11th house marks the beginning of the month. You can focus more on your career at this time. You are able to give your growth greater thought. In fact, your reputation and image will be on your mind. Don't do anything that might damage that. Venus and Saturn are in the 8th house at the beginning of the month. Mercury around the 6th. As a result, you'll worry more about your money, investments, and returns on investments. And perhaps the pressure at work will be so great that you'll be more motivated to find a solution. All of this will be resolved in February. Or at least there will be some reason for optimism, as it will be a transformational month. Additionally, This is the moment to make the most informed investments with your money. You may consider your own security as well as the protection of your loved ones. There is also the possibility that you will be required by your in-laws' family. So that is another possibility where you must generally demonstrate your presence. Actually, February is a favorable month for you. Money, growth, and happiness will come your way in this month. But you'll also have to keep some things hidden. You'll observe that you won't have someone with whom you can discuss your point of view, and people won't comprehend you. Therefore, it is preferable to just carry on as normal and proceed in the appropriate direction. However, maintain your attention, maintain your direction, and concentrate on your improvement. The month of February 2023 is all about growth, thus reciting. As far as career is concerned, the first half of the month will bring you some challenges. You may not be motivated to complete your given tasks, or you may even get into conflicts with coworkers and superiors. You definitely need to be very watchful of your communication, verbal as well as written. Make sure that you check everything that you've written twice. Make sure you check for accuracies. Don't take on battles placed due to your overconfidence. They will backfire and they will not go in your favor. The second half of the month is much better in terms of career, as long as you maintain good relationships with your coworkers. Financially, although it's still an okay time as far as your regular income is concerned, you just have to be very careful. Regarding any new investments or changes in financial planning, don't take on any financial risk at this time. Just kind of play safe because your 8th house is extremely activated. So the chance of losses or the chances of investments not doing as well is vary. If you have been waiting for some unearned income, which would mean inheritance issues or insurance settlements or any other settlements of that nature, then this is the month where you may actually get them. If you are also waiting on any government funding of any sort, then this is also the month that you would get it. The sun moves into the 8th house. So definitely any financial benefits or rewards that you were waiting for from the government, you can expect to see them now. So speaking of health and relationship, at the same time, the first half of the month is going to be challenged because Venus is going to be in the 8th house with Saturn. So you're going to be stressed about your relationships, and your relationships may not go as well because you may have conflict. So you need to try to avoid arguments relating to money with your relationships, so avoid that at all times. And also this stress may give you some digestive issues as well, so make sure that you watch your diet very carefully. Only eat things that you know agree with you. So maybe some digestive issues during this month, and some cancer could also experience some eye or vision problem, meaning irritation, eye irritations or infections. So kind of watch for that, as after the middle of the month things change quite drastically and for the better, because Venus moves to the 9th house, which is the house of luck. So things change much better. Your health is much improved, and most importantly, your relationships also take a turn for the much better. So love life after the second half of the month is so much more improved. So people that are looking for love may actually find it at that time. If you're single, if you're married, things take a wonderful turn. Then, marriage gets a lot better as well. Students, it's exceptionally good for students after the second half of the month. Also, some cancers will travel after the second half of the month. This is all about Cancer Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now, let's talk about Leo Ascendant. Leo Ascendant, Saturn and Venus will aspect your ascendant if you have a Leo ascendant, because they are both in the 7th house. You must use caution at this point. Take care of the situation. Circumstances will arise that may test you, as if the world were passing judgment on you. Now is the moment to put your skills to use. Let go of your ego and take care of your family and loved ones, especially in your marriage. You must first contribute because the sun will be in the 6th house at the beginning of the month. You must also comprehend how Mercury Bud flows. Bud is extremely important to you since he rules both the 2nd and the 11th houses, which contain your money. And this Mercury moves from the 5th to the 6th to the 2nd house of the 7th. Mercury course eventually crosses paths with both Saturn and the Sun. This combination now is where the mind tries to comprehend the issues better. Therefore, this is the month in which you can confront your issues and worries and try to come up with a workable solution. In your 9th house, Venus will now move around the middle of February. Saturn and the Sun will be the only planet still in your 7th house. And with the Kendra, when Venus becomes exalted, this is the time to demonstrate your mental toughness and power, especially in your job, as you can see the Mars, Saturn, Sun. Some favorable growth will be experienced by those wishing to change careers, change your domain if you want to change your organization, if you want to be aware of competition, if you work in a setting where there is competition, such as sales or marketing, you will see that the battle you are engaged in will end with your win. Now, this is not a transit or a month where things will be especially mellow and consoling. Rather, this is the month to confront the struggle and achieve success. This is comparable to finding your actual calling through competing against fierce opposition and then improvising as needed. First, you must adapt and then you must succeed. This month is good. It's been a challenging month. Although difficult, this month has been successful. You will need to use extreme caution if you have any medical conditions linked to Mercury. Limit your intake of sweets and make an effort to spread encouragement and positive words. Don't criticize anyone, especially during this month. And right now is the time when you can aid those that need it. This could be an excellent time for investment as well as, and especially, for those looking to purchase real estate. You cannot express yourself as you please at this time. Perhaps the investment that will be made will lead to some compromise. Victory is running the race very steadily. And as you probably well know, success is more like climbing a ladder one step at a time. No slingshot will be present, but you will witness everything one step at a time. Avoid conflict with your superiors if you want your company to change or if you want to step outside of your comfort zone. Therefore, despite being extremely modest, subtle and impactful, these changes are a part of the month of February and you must accept that. And once you take on the opposition, you will succeed. Consider this month as a chance to find the ideal position for yourself. Leo for February. Leos have been generally feeling a bit low on energy ever since K moved into their third house last year. And with Jupiter being in their 8th house, they also may feel like they're not getting rewarded or recognized in their career or profession. Well, February might have some similar results as well, where you may experience some stress and worries related to your career. And you may feel that you're really not getting the rewards of your heart. It's entirely possible that you're feeling demotivated and don't feel like putting in a lot of initiatives. Again, this is due to the fact of Ketu being in your 3rd house for the last several months. Ketu brings a sense of detachment and the lack of desire to take action. And with Mars transiting in your house of career, it may seem like everything that you do in your career or the effort that you do make may result in some combat, some conflict at work. Try your best to avoid conflict or having a combative approach at work. This might work a little better for you because your 8th house is still active. So there, things could not end up so well for you. As far as finance is concerned, the Leo expenses are still considerably high at this time. Avoid the tendency to take on too many loans or debts at this time. Your 6th house is very activated due to the presence of Sun in there. And even though your finances seem okay, your income seems okay, the expenses are out of control and they have been for the last year. It's going to continue this trend of expenses because Jupiter does aspect the 12th house. So watch your expenses. The income's not a problem. It's the high expenses. That's the problem at this time. Unfortunately, because both the 6th and the 8th houses are getting a little activated at this time, your health could see minor issues. Not nothing major, but minor issues. You could have some leg pains, something in the lower legs also, and maybe some digestive issues at this time. Maintain a very healthy diet, and in order to kind of get over this temporary phase of ill health, maybe you can make sure that you watch your diet and have a good physical regimen. Married Leos, regarding relationships, your partner may be stressed about financial matters at this time, and that's the only way to maintain a stress-free relationship at this time. There's nothing wrong in your relationship. It's just the fact that you're going to worry about things. All relationship with children might cause you to be a little worried about them as well. I did say worry about relationship, and that does include children, students, and those engaged in education. You might have to try your very to stay focused and do well, because it does indicate that you're going to lose focus and be quite distracted. So do your best to stay focused. So this is all about Leo Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Virgo Ascendant. Virgo Ascendant, for you, Virgo Ascendant, Venus and Saturn will be in the 6th house. Sun will also appear in the 5th. This is a nice situation, but this month will start out with financial anxiety on the financial side. Your productivity may be hampered by debt problems, upcoming expenses, or loans and debts, and as a result, you think far too much. Therefore, the best course of action here is to actually do something about it rather than thinking about it too much. Resolving the conflict, solving this issue, and your choice will be better and the result will be better the more patient and grounded you are. Additionally, Mercury will be in the 4th house. Mercury will then enter the 5th house, and after the first week, Sun join in the 5th house. There will be Bud Aditya Yoga, which refers to any work requiring intellectual prowess for students or philosophers. After the first week of February, for authors, intellectuals, and professionals, the timing is truly excellent. Additionally, Venus, which will be in the 6th house, will join Jupiter after mid-February and become exalted in the 7th. As a result, it appears that February's second half is filled with joy, comfort, and contentment. So you've truly had a great month. It first wants you to use all of your reasoning and mind. Concentrate on the issue until a solution appears, at which point things get much simpler. You will receive two different kind of instruction though, as Venus and Jupiter are both in the 7th house. One is extremely spiritual and evolved, and one is once more spiritually advanced yet material. You will therefore need to strike a balance in some way. You will need to achieve a balance between these two opposing natural powers, Venus and Jupiter, and build a bridge between them. Moreover, if you are successful, you shouldn't be concerned at all. Sun and Saturn will be in the 6th house after February 13th. You need to exercise caution at that time because the Sun is your 12th lord. Although there is a Viprit Raj Yoga, your 5th lord is Saturn. Therefore, health-related issues could arise. There may be superfluous costs, particularly when it comes to your wishes. Maybe you constantly wish you could buy something, possibly not. Hence, exercise caution there. Additionally, bills for your children may arise. Therefore, it may be favorable, auspicious, or occasionally forced and undesirable. So you best be ready to handle that rage. Virgo, your health should be okay this month as long as you take care of your diet, so you prevent any digestive issues that may come up. It's a good month for love, life and relationships. Venus does get exalted in the 7th house of marriage after the second half of the month. So if you're married, you're gonna spend some quality time with your spouse. As far as love, life is concerned, make sure you don't ego get in the way. Otherwise, it's going to be a pleasant time, especially in the beginning of the month. Also, if you're a student or you're still in education, it's an excellent month from a learning perspective and also from staying focused on your education. The only guidance I do have for Rose is to make sure they keep their communication with everybody very pleasant. Don't take on a combat or a fighting approach with others because Mars does aspect the 3rd house. So your communication may get a little fiery. You may get argumentative. So avoid that with everybody. So this is all about Virgo Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Libra. Libra Ascendant. Sun will be in the central houses in your case together with Rahu and Ketu. If the 1st house is Ketu, 4th house contains the planet Sun and the 7th house Rahu, and there is nothing in 10 of the houses. Now that Rahu, Ketu and Sun are all in the middle houses, your reputation will be somewhat affected. So you need to concentrate on that as well as your image. Although you may be putting in a lot of effort in February, the application and recognition may not go as planned. However, Sun and Venus in the 5th sign guarantee that you will achieve success no matter how hard you work or how fully committed you are to your task, whether it be in your career, house, or studies. On the other hand, at the beginning of the month, Mars and the Moon will be in the 8th house. You must therefore take care with your health, your lifestyle, and, well, your investments. Additionally, you will endeavor to be more secure during this month. You will strive to provide more and more financial stability for yourself. Therefore, you can search for insurances and financial plans where you can make long-term investments. We call that this must be a long-term endeavor. Sun and Saturn will align in the 5th house starting around the middle of February, while Venus will become exalted in the 6th house. On the one hand, the 6th house conjunction of Venus and Jupiter speaks a lot about your comfort approaching. You will notice a lot of remedies coming your way, particularly if you are in debt, are involved in numerous disputes, or are ill. Sun and Saturn, however, talk about embracing all options, taking in the truth, and accepting the constraints that will also be provided with the 5th house of acceptance. Therefore, if you work within your boundaries, accept the outcomes, and avoid pushing or breaking yourself in favor of attempting to be flexible yet firm, you should see a lot of success and chances in the month of February. Just that you shouldn't argue with your father or your superiors who are your guardians. You should treat them with a lot of kindness. You must be really sensitive to your own children if we discuss them. Your words have the power to influence them both negatively and favorably. So communicate effectively, and the first part will be more about realization and working toward your own self and your own existence. For your own desire, for your own, once you utilize constructive communication and once you realize the reality, the second half of the process entails accepting the realization and the outcome before unwinding and enjoying your life. February will see the arrival of solutions. Libra for February. Libra, your ascendant Lord Venus is going to be in the 5th house with Saturn at the beginning of the month. So you're gonna take on a very responsible, mature approach to all relationships in your life now. This includes relationships with children, your love life, all aspects of managing your finance, especially investments. 5th house is generally considered the house of fun, creativity, and things that we enjoy in our life. But when meanness goes in there, you'd expect that you would have a lot of fun. But because Saturn is going to be there for the next 2 years, you're going to have a very serious approach to all these things that give us fun in our life as far as career is concerned. This is an exceptional month for career, especially the second half of the month. You're going to expect to see some growth and recognition in your career. Your relationships at work will be very beneficial, and you may even get recognized for your hard work. You will get full support from your bosses and seniors. Financially, though, the first half is a lot better as far as investments. Financial management is concerned. You're going to start managing your savings and investments very carefully, and the first half will make you see some good gains and returns from them. The second half of the month, although is not as profitable because the Venus moves into the 6th house, so it's going to be of an expensive second half of the month. You may end up spending a lot impulsively, so be very careful about that as far as love life is concerned, because Venus and Saturn are together in the 5th house. It's going to make you take a very serious approach or a more responsible approach to your love life. You are not going to engage in any frivolous affairs at this time. If you're in a relationship, you may actually think about the seriousness of or the permanence of the relationship and go forward and deal with it in that manner. Also, a relationship with children is indicated with the same Venus-Saturn combination, so you're gonna take a very disciplinarian attitude towards children if you do have children. So you need to kind of watch that. Otherwise, over the next 2 years, the Saturn transit couldn't ruin the relationship with your children, or the children may resent it if they're very young. So make sure you manage the relationship with your children over the next 2 years carefully. After the second half of the month, Venus does get exalted in your 6th house and Jupiter is already there. So the 6th house is a house of health. So make sure you take extra care of your health at this time. It's a good time to get into a good health habit. And you should consider having a good physical, health fitness regime as well. And one last bit of advice is that, Mars is in your 8th house, so it aspects your 2nd house. The 2nd house is communication. So you really, really need to take care of how you communicate with your spouse as well as family. Make sure you're pleasant and you don't take on a combative or approach where you keep getting into arguments with family or your spouse especially. So make sure, keep your communication pleasant. Otherwise, you may have very undesirable results at this time. So this is all about Libra ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Scorpio ascendant. Scorpio is your ascendant sign. A Mars and Moon conjunction in the 7th house speaks a lot about your attention to your surroundings and will mark the beginning of the month. Therefore, you will need to adjust to the environment and the people in it. You must pay attention to them. You consider the suggestions. Even criticism that you receive from others shouldn't be met with animosity. Instead, try to view it as feedback. Venus and Saturn are both in the 4th house, encouraging you to leave your comfort zone and go toward your goals. Additionally, the Sun will be in the 3rd house throughout the first part of February, which indicates that it wants you to take the initiative. The king has bravery. Thus, you might need to exercise some daring initiative or take some big measures, and you must possess that confidence within you. However, excessive confidence should not be taken into account. In the second half, the Sun will be in the 4th house alongside Saturn, which indicates that if the choice you made was well considered and carefully considered, the second half will truly be good. You'll experience that tranquilly, but perhaps that choice was a mistake. If your decision was made out of retaliation or rage, you will regret it and fights will break out in your house. You will run into issues with your relatives, particularly the office boss, the father and the grandfather. It's best to avoid taking that route, to be modest and grounded, and Scorpio will experience a very beneficial and potentially transformative month. Simply put, you should exercise extreme caution when communicating in marriage and other close relationships. Your communication should not convey a sense of superiority rather than a one-to-one relationship. In one-on-one, you are helping those around you as much as you can on a one-to-one basis. Give up your ego and you'll benefit from the month. Scorpio for February. Scorpio, Saturn has moved into your 4th house and it's going to aspect your career house for the next 2.5 years. So as far as February is concerned, this month makes you very task oriented and focused on your work. You will need to spend more time on your career matters than on personal. You will get good support and great visibility, not only from your coworkers and your bosses, but also you'll be noticed by your competitors. So make sure you maintain very high standard of work and maintain a very sharp positive public image of yourself as well. For business owners, this is also a very positive month when you see good profitability from your business as well. Speaking financially, this is an expensive month for you. You may have a lot of unwanted type of expenses. Now, although your income may stay status quo, your expenses are going to impact you a lot because they're going high this month as far as relationships are concerned. Understand that because Saturn is going to be in your 4th house for 2.5 years, that you are going to have mental worries and your general domestic happiness or your mental happiness is going to be challenged for the whole time that Saturn is there. You're just generally going to stay worried about financial matters. Not that they're going to need to be worried about. That's just the impact of Saturn, where you're constantly worried about financial benefits, how you're gonna make more money, and generally stuff like that. So, and that impacts your domestic happiness as well. Now, although the second half of the month, when Venus exalts in your 5th house, it actually gets a little better as far as relationships is concerned. So it's time for it's a good romantic time for Scorpio, especially if you have a love life, then it's a good time. If you're looking for love, you may find somebody now, and it also is a positive impact. If you're married, then you'll also have a pleasant time in your marriage. In the second half of the month, relationships with children, or if your children are grown, then they will do very well too. The second half of the month and relationship with that will do really exceptionally well in the second half of the month as well. Now, the only guidance that I do have is that because Mars is aspecting you, that you need to take care not to get too aggressive in your approach, as well as your communication, especially with coworkers and at work, because that can be very, very damaging to your reputation at work. And it's going to ruin the impact of the Saturn impact on your career. So make sure you control your aggressive approach if you're having that, and make sure your communication doesn't get aggressive or overly aggressive or egoistic at this time. Make sure you have a very good relationship with your mother. Take good care of her health and tell her you love her. And definitely don't ruin your relationship with your mother at this time. So this is all about Scorpio Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Sagittarius Ascendant. Sagittarius Ascendant, February officially kicks off with Mercury in the 1st house. Mercury and Jupiter dominate your Kendra, the core houses, and they are both in the Kendra square from one another. So it's a very good note. They will therefore assist you in achieving your goals. You can receive a lot of direction during this month. So repeat mantras frequently and conduct in-depth research to help your situation. Your expertise, especially with the Sun in the 2nd house, can increase your chances. Your voice will be quite powerful, but you should exercise extreme caution while making commitments in the month of February, since the Sun will smoothly enter Aquarius on February 13th. And will then cross paths with Saturn, forcing you to put your words into action. Therefore, with Saturn's Sun in the 3rd house, just commit what you can. You have the opportunity now to make changes in your life. However, there is a conjunction of Saturn and Venus in the 3rd house before February 13th, which indicates that because Venus is the ruler of your 11th house, you will initially try to make your goals come true. It's a good time to start new initiatives for your career or employment, and the work you undertake with all of your love and commitment will have a successful outcome. You can anticipate this because the month starts with the moon's Vipridraws yoga and it's linked to Mars in the 6th house, which increases your chances of turning anything terrible into something great, being extremely uplifting and inspiring. Just that the flow of Mercurian energy is from 1st to 2nd to 3rd, so you have to be extremely pragmatic. Therefore, what you think must ultimately be translated into action. On the other side, being lazy could be detrimental. Delay can be caused by lethargy and a lack of dedication to yourself. Additionally, those delays may cascade into other areas of On the other hand, if Rahu is in the 5th house and you see him, you might feel more inclined to want to eat something. Knowledge can be consumed. Someone may be trying to compliment you by using this consumption. Be extremely cautious if your ego is being boosted during this ingestion, as it can be a feat to the ego. Remember that because the sun rules your 9th house, the conjunction of the sun and the Saturn might be extremely challenging for you. Dharma must be practiced, but ultimately, this demonstrates your willingness to behave morally, your ability to discern sound advice, and if you move slowly and deliberately without rushing, your practicality and sense of reality. You'll notice that February will point you in the proper path and give you the right advice. Sagittarius for February. This is a very positive month for Sagittarius in terms of career and finance. Saturn aspects the 9th house of luck along with Sun in the beginning of the month. So this activates the good luck and development and growth in terms of career and finances. Some Sagittarius may even travel for their job or to even get training or for learning new skills and educational purposes. Now, Mars in the 6th house beats out any competitor or competition. So it's a promising time to get either promoted at work or if you are looking for a job. The first half of the month is also a very promising time for that financially as well. It's a very profitable month for you. You could get income through various sources such as obviously your job or real estate or other investments or even bonuses at work. This is true for also business owners as well as people that are. Health is not a concern this month, especially the second half of the month when the sun moves into the 3rd house and it gives you excellent energy, healing and determination to maintain very good health habits. And with Mars being in the 6th house, the 6th house indicates your health. Even if you do get a small health issue here or there, Mars will actually help define it and also heal it. So health is not a concern for Sogi. The second half of the month, Venus does exalt in the 4th house. So you may be very interested in making changes in your home improvements or in your home. Some of you may spend on even a new vehicle. So there could be some spending this month. With those kind of expenses as far as relationships are concerned, the only guidance I can give you regarding that is don't get egoistic or too demanding in your marriage or your love life. It could to some conflict and disturbance, and also you should manage your monetary expectation from your partner because Mars is in the 6th house and it tends to disturb relationships, and Rahu being in the 5th house, it does tend to disturb your love life as well. So stay as pleasant as you can and avoid any very heated discussions and arguments. And students, Rahu in the 5th house has been very distracting for you. It doesn't let you focus well, so you can do the best you can to stay focused on your learning and education. So this is all about Sagittarius Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Capricorn Ascendant. Capricorn Ascendant, the sun will be in the 1st house in your situation, while Saturn and Venus will be in the 2nd house. Therefore, now is the time to pay attention to both your personality and how you transmit it through your speech and other forms of communication. You must fast on Saturdays in this place, and you should strive to contribute food on Saturdays in particular. Venus will travel into your 3rd house after the middle of February, at which point Venus will get exalted. Venus governs in this formation, making it advantageous. Venus rules the strong houses here. Venus rules over both the 5th and the 10th houses in your horoscope. This demonstrates that your activities will be successful and that your career and knowledge will both develop. You might have to confront your loved ones and persuade them. This is not the time to revolt and fight. Rather, it is the moment to work together. The greater your attitude toward humility, the better February will be for you. Mercury will bring money house if you observe its trajectory, which is from the 2nd to the 12th. It will turn losses into gains, which is advantageous. But perhaps a family member's illness, perhaps you must maintain your composure and make yourself accessible to those who can assist you, since your spouse or another close relative can be causing you mental distress. Overall, you have had a really good month, especially in light of the Mars and Moon are in conjunction in the 5th house and at the beginning of the month. So eat well and judiciously in order to prevent digestive or stomach issues. Try to steer clear of any unsanitary foods and concentrate on your lifestyle. Overall though, it's been a month of expansion, achievement and notoriety for Capricorn. So this is all about Capricorn Ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Aquarius Ascendant. If Aquarius is the ascendant, then Aquarius, you'll observe that in the month of February, your attention will be drawn more to your own well-being, discomforts and house. Therefore, the focus for this month is more about redefining your own identity and attempting to fall in love with yourself. This is the month when you learn to value your own existence and all the wonderful deeds you have accomplished. This is also the moment to acknowledge your errors and make an effort to improve. Your personal house will also come into focus for you during this month. Perhaps you want to renovate, or perhaps you want to purchase a house so that such projects or costs might befall you as a result of February 2023. Additionally, Mercury will move from being in the 11th to being in the first place. So it undoubtedly refers to the fulfillment of wishes, although obviously and if you're willing to pay the price, you could want to buy something pricey or follow your career or your passion, but doing so might have a cost. You might need to leave your employment. Additionally, your family environment could be challenging for you, which might cause you to reconsider your career. Your mind will be more busy at night. Therefore, you must take care of your sleep, because if the sleep gets, that is another angle that you must consider. When lethargy sets in, health-related problems will also become apparent. The month of February 2023 should be dedicated to visiting many temples and offering many prayers, especially if you can visit a Shiva temple. In this month, you will work on yourself and begin putting more of an emphasis on your own personal development than only on soft skills, on something that can endure a long time, carry you farther down the road and need you to go a longer distance, especially in your profession. This is the time to give up all the comfort if you're a student. Give up watching TV. Now is the moment to exclusively think about schooling. The foundation for the future will be established this month. For February Aquarius, your ascendant, Lord Saturn has just transited into your ascendant house, but it will be combust for most of February, and so the sun will impact you more intensely instead as far as career is concerned. Mars is in the 4th house and it aspects your 10th house of career, so you'll make quick decisions and take fast action regarding how you want to handle your career going forward. It's a good time to take new initiatives and move forward with new ideas. Just make sure you don't have an aggressive approach in the workplace and you try to coexist with everybody in a pleasant. And just understand that you will still need to work very hard and maintain the effort that you have been putting into your work since the last several months. If you want to see the results of your hard work, they will come much later. Saturn is in your ascendant house. So as Saturn does give delayed results and rewards, so keep the hard work going, keep the effort going, and just be patient as far as rewards and benefits of the hard work is concerned. After the middle of the month, Venus exalts in your 2nd house, and this is good news in terms of opportunities as well as finance. Speaking of finance, financially it's status quo. Jupiter has been in your 2nd house. So it's continuing to stay a positive time. And like I said, the middle of the month, it definitely activates your luck factor with Venus moving in there and getting exalted. So definitely a good time for finance. After the second half of the month, it's a lucky time for you. Relationships, it's going to be a little different if you're married as opposed to you're not married. If you're married, then your spouse is going to be a little bit dominating maybe, or need your support, because the sun, which is the ruler of your 7th house, moves into your ascendant house and actually combusts your. So they're going to either need a lot of your support or they're going to be a little bit on the dominating side. Just try to be very supportive of them. And if not married and you are looking for love, this might not be the month that you get it. If you are in a relationship, then you need to kind of watch your communication with your partner. Mercury sometimes gives, sarcastic or sometimes a little hurtful communication. So watch that, might not have the best. So just kind of watch your communication. Otherwise, it should be okay. As far as health is concerned, this is actually a good month for Aquarius. They might feel like they have a little more energy. They might feel healed a little bit. And that's because the sun moves into their ascendant house and actually combusts Saturn. Saturn usually gives aches and pains to Aquarius when it's in the ascendant house. When sun combusts it, they actually feel a little bit more energy. And students, or if you're in education, you're going to have to put in a lot more extra effort and a little more hard work, because Mercury in the 12th house is going to want to make you more relaxed as opposed to being serious about your studies or educations. So try your best to be as serious and as more focused and hardworking as you can. So this is all about Aquarius ascendant. If you want personal consultations, links are given in the description. Now let's talk about Pisces ascendant. This month will see you take on more commitment, undertake more activities, and incur more costs. However, these costs may really be considered investments rather than expenses. If you look at the chart, the 12th house will have the 8th Lord Venus and the 11th Lord Saturn. However, it is the zone of Saturn and Venus because Aquarius is the zodiac sign dominated by Saturn and the 12th house. Venus adores the house, so something is undoubtedly focusing on the 12th house. So please give whatever you can. Let go of bad thoughts, since you won't be able to fill your cup with new things until it is completely empty. And Mars and more in the 3rd house at the start of February tell a lot about what can come into your life positively, but that the negative must leave even when things are bad. You must, since Venus is establishing a Viparit Raj Yoga here. Despite the fact that the circumstances may be difficult, you are giving possibilities a chance to come your way. This will allow you to get excellent results that are far superior to what you could have expected. Again, Jupiter and Mercury will be in the Kendra houses, and this strength and location of Jupiter and Mercury will give you more options, particularly with Mercury being in the 10th house. Its software, journalism, media writing, and any other field associated to Mercury will experience a significant uptick for employees in the communication industry. And whether you are exporting your services, your commodities, or your products, you will see that there is a positive tendency in February as well. You will need to monitor your thoughts and feelings for Pisces. Don't make any significant decisions for the full month of February, when the moon will be in conjunction with Ketu, Saturn. Keep a record of your spending and try to donate any leftovers. If you do that, you'll notice that February will be a very optimistic, upbeat, and detoxifying month for you. Pisces for February. Pisces Saturn has just transited into the 12th house, so this is going to cause some ups and downs in your career throughout this transit of 2.5 years. As far as February is concerned, this is going to cause you some mental worries related to the hard work that you feel that you have been putting into your career, and you're trying to be successful. There may be challenges with bosses, colleagues, co-worker, and people in the workplace. Business owners may face issues with employees, and also they may have to worry a lot about their competitors after the middle of the month. This relationship issue probably isn't as bad as it is or as challenging as it is in the first half of the month. And as far as finance is concerned, Pisces may have felt that no matter how much they earn, their needs and their expenses are just not being met. Who has been in the 2nd house, and now Saturn and Venus are in the 12th house, indicates very, very high expenses, some of which could be sudden and unplanned. My guidance to Pisces during this whole Saturn transit of 2.5 years is to try and control their spending as best as they can. And again, the second half of the month is slightly better, and I did say slightly better because Venus does move into the 1st house and exalt there. So the expenses may be a little better or a little more planned. But again, this 2.5 year phase is still expensive for Pisces. As far as relationships are concerned, the second half is a lot better when Venus exalts in your ascendant house. So this is very good time for all Pisces people as far as relationships are concerned, married as well as the single people. And if somebody is looking for love, this is an excellent time to find somebody. It's the second half of the month. And also one more note, that when Venus gets exalted with your Sun, Lord Jupiter, in the 1st house, has a very transformative impact on you by way of either healing your body or an approach to things in life in general. So think carefully through the second half of the month, whether you want to change your approach to life, whether you want to change your approach to relax, or whether you need some healing energy. It's very positive impact. It's very transformative. Don't let it go waste. Utilize this positive energy in your life to make some changes in your life, in relationships, and your approach to finances. The second half of the month, when Aries gets exalted in your ascendant house, is also very, very positive time for students with their learning and, getting rewards or recognitions if they've been doing some hard also excellent time for children. If you do have children, your relationships with children will also do very well during that time. As far as health is concerned, take good care of your health. Especially you may have some pain in your lower legs, and also you may have some digestive issues. Make sure you're eating very healthy, and this is also a time when you want to start a good physical health regimen. So make sure you maintain a healthy diet and also have a good physical workout regimen. So this is all about Pisces ascendant. If you want personal consultation, link is given in description, and I will meet you in next video. Till then, bye bye.